Hey, what's up? It's Mike Deary, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you could greatly improve the quality of your live streams for Facebook or YouTube for about 15 bucks using things that you already have in your house. You will not need to leave your house most likely for the things I'm going to show you how to do here. And you're greatly going to improve the quality that you're able to produce live streams with. All right. So how do I know this stuff? I've been live streaming and doing online guitar and music lessons for a long time now. I have a really pro setup, but given the recent nature of how musicians and everybody need to stay inside and start streaming rather than gigging at a live place, I've seen a lot of people struggle to try to find out how to do a quality live stream. And my goal was to try to find out how can I teach people to do this super cheap but really high quality. And that's the goal. And I got it down to 15 bucks, okay? So let's jump in and talk about this. By the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly what to do, how to change all your settings, and get everything ready so that you could start streaming a much higher quality performance live video, all right? And again, only with spending 15 bucks for an app that you need, all right? We're gonna be using things you already have, whether it's your cell phone or your iPhone, a tablet, or whatever, okay? So, jumping in, let's first talk about what you don't want to do if you could avoid it. You do not want to use your phone to stream to Facebook with. We're going to be using a computer for that if you have one. Why don't you want to use your phone? Because if you're using your phone both as a camera, as an internet connection that's going to be Wi-Fi, not hard connection, and as a tool to interact with all your people on Facebook, this little device is not going to be able to do that many things and produce a high quality experience, okay? It's just not that designed for it. What we can do is use the phone's camera as a camera source, which, as you all know by these days, the cameras in these things are awesome. So why not utilize it, all right? So let's talk about a few basics about what we want to look for, all right? What we do want to do, like I said, is use your computer to actually stream to Facebook or to YouTube, all right? And I'm going to show you how to do that later on in this video. Why do we want to use a computer? Number one, it's a direct connection, or we could set up a direct connection to your internet, all right? You want to do that with an Ethernet cable, okay? Upload speed is the name of the game here, all right? When you have an internet connection, you have download speed, you have upload speed. Upload speed is really what predicts how quality of a feed you could send into Facebook, all right? So if you want to test out where you're currently at, go to speedtest.net, I think it is. There's a little go button. It'll run a quick test. You'll see a download speed and an upload speed, all right? Your download speed is important, but the upload speed is what's really important for quality. Where do you want to be at? The minimum is about 5 megabytes or megabits, all right? If you can get to 10, that's great. Anything above 10 is gravy and only going to be a better, smoother experience. If you're getting below 5, you're not going to have the great quality feed, all right? If you have no other way to do this, then try bringing your computer. If you can't go and send an Ethernet cable into your actual computer from your modem, your router, then at least try moving your computer closer to the box, the modem or the router's the wireless router. That'll help improve the quality, but run that speed test. If you're above 5 or 10, you're good to go. Anything lower, you need to up your bit, all right? Call your internet company. Like Greenlight just boosted everybody for free up to 200 up speed. That's super fast, all right? So anyways, upload speed, super, super important. Your phone is not going to be able to produce that high of an upload speed, especially if it's wireless. So that's another reason why your internet, or your feed from your phone probably looks like crap. The other thing is when you use your phone, I'm pretty sure, so I've heard, that you can only do it as portrait view, all right? You're not going to be able to do it horizontal view, which is going to give you a much bigger view of the room, okay? So those are the reasons why you want a faster connection and so forth and use your computer, all right? Now let's talk about cameras, okay? So if you want to go fancy and you have the ability, let's say you have a GoPro, or let's say you have a very nice DSLR camera. That's what I'm using right now to shoot this video, okay? If you have those things, they have great quality. You have more control over the settings like white balance and focus. But the problem is you need to get this into your computer. All right, to do that, you need a device called a cam link. This is by a company called Elgato. All right, what this does is it takes the HDMI out from your GoPro or your camera, your DSLR. It goes HDMI in and it goes USB out. You attach that into your computer, and your computer now thinks that the nice fancy high-end camera you just connected to it is the same as a cheap little USB camera that you would put on top of your screen. All right, that's what this device does. The problem with GoPros is that you can only stream as long as the battery lasts. You cannot charge this thing and stream with it at the same time, as far as I know and have tested. So they have limits. A DSLR camera, again, usually they're battery powered. They have battery clips that have a power supply, so depending on your camera, you could do that. But again, if you use a phone, it's going to have a power source. It's going to be able to stream as long as you want, and you already have it. You don't need to go spending a lot of money. All right, so let me show you the actual setup that I'm using. I'm going to switch to using this phone as my new camera source. And by the end of this video, I'm going to walk you through the software that allows me to do this. All right, so here we are. Boom. This is my setup. Okay, this is the nice fancy DSLR camera. That camera is a Panasonic Lumix G4. With that lens, it's about $1,000 setup right there. That is my iPhone 8 that I've been using every day for the last 4 or 5 years. All right? These two things are set up side by side. Now, take a look. Top left is the iPhone 8. Bottom right is the $1,000 Lumix G4. It's certainly a little bit better, but I don't need to go spend $1,000 to get that much more quality, okay? The top left will work just fine, and that is video coming from my iPhone 8, okay? As you can see, I can do these both at the same time. They're both moving in the same time. If you want to use, if you have 2, 3 iPhones sitting around, you could use that and have multi views like I have right now. I'll show you how to do that by the end of this video, okay? But you can see the difference in quality versus something that you most likely already have versus something that you'd have to spend a ton of money on, okay? So again, you're good to go with what you already have. We just need to now connect your iPhone or your phone or your device, all right, into your computer. Before I do that, what we're gonna do is show you the audio, okay? So let's now switch back to my phone. And let's make sure we, oops, there we go. Cool, okay. So now what we're gonna do is look at my setup, okay? We have these two cameras here like I showed you. Usually I'm just using this guy here. You can see that I have this screen right here. That is the actual screen from my computer, all right? I have a MacBook Pro that is running my live stream setup. Now I have a cord that connects an external monitor so that I'm able to put that right there. This way I'm able to look at the camera, and I only need to veer my gaze just a little bit off to see how everything looks from the viewer's perspective, okay? You do not want to be turning your head away from your camera or your audience if you could avoid it. So I have an external monitor that just hooks right into my computer, all right? MacBook Pros have a clamshell feature where if you have an external display connected, you could close the lid and it will work any other external display as the main display. The other thing that I have to the left is an iPad on a little stand. This allows me to scroll through and see comments and interact with people. Again, I have that right close to the video so that I don't need to be looking away from my audience to see what everybody's saying and to interact with them. All right? So that is a couple tips on how you could set things up so you could see. All right, an iPad, just, go to your feed when it's live. There's a short delay, but you could at least have that super close to you, and then you could see what everybody's saying and say hi and interact with them, all right? Now, the other thing that we need to talk about is audio, all right? So let me switch back, and then I will show you my audio setup, okay? The other big problem with using an iPhone or a phone for streaming with is you're going to be limited in how high quality your audio production can be, because you're most likely just going to be using the microphone from your phone. If you're a musician nowadays, you most likely have a device that connects an audio input into your computer, an audio interface. Okay, whether it's a very simple 2-channel audio interface, a USB device, or a fancy high-end, high production Pro Tools rig or Apogee or whatever, all right? But again, if you have something, it's going to allow you to really boost the quality, because if I'm going to use my computer as the streaming device, I need to actually define the audio source. So, what do I do for that? Let me go back to my camera and I will show you. Okay, there we go. That is my audio interface, okay? This is a Thunderbolt interface. It's a 4-channel input. So if I have 4 separate things, I could put them all in here. But let's say you just have your guitar input or your keyboard input and a microphone. Those are your 2 inputs. They're going to be discrete, and you're going to be able to dial those in much higher quality. We'll show you how you select this in the software that we use later on, okay? Now, if you just keep it simple, you're just going to use however many inputs you have and then use what you got. You most likely have a microphone at home. Your guitar or piano probably has a pickup. You could go directly from that into there, or if you want to mic up your amp, go for it. In my setup, here's my studio here. Here's my big wall of really cool synth shit. It's a lot of fun to play with. But anyways, in my studio, I have a separate computer, a separate interface, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I got drums behind me right there. I have about 8 microphones on the drum kit. I have every piece of gear here set up as a different input. Basically, my setup, I could do about 32 inputs. What I do for my setup is I get everything dialed in on my main rig. Then I take a stereo feed of the mix and send it into my computer. That way, I could do a whole band in here, and all I'm going to do to send into my interface is a stereo left and right. Okay, that's how I achieve a really high quality setup for a live feed. But again, if you're going to keep this simple, if you have just this, attach a microphone and go direct with your instrument, and you're going to immediately have a much higher quality signal. Okay, so that is all of the hardware. Oops, where's my camera? There we go. Okay, so the next part of this is the last part is what we're going to talk about: software. Okay. What do you need for your computer to talk to Facebook? Well, you load Facebook in there, but what you got to do is have a software program that attaches all these microphones and cameras. We're going to use a free software program called OBS Studio. OBS, Open Broadcast System. Go Google it, you'll find it. You could use it for Mac or PC. It is certainly touted as the best quality and the best performance software, and it is 100% free. It's open source, so people support it and fix updates on it and all that. We're going to take you inside that software. Right after this, I'm going to switch into doing a screen share, and I'm going to show you this software, how to set it up from scratch. But what you want to do is go download that software and get it installed on your computer. And then I'm going to show you how to do every single step to get it set up and how you're going to connect that into Facebook. The other benefit of using this setup is that you'll be able to record your live stream separate from Facebook. Let's say your feed drops from Facebook, it gets choppy, it looks like crap, maybe your audio is out of sync. If you record it separate, you could then modify that file and re-upload it later. This setup will allow you to do that, okay? So the only thing you need to spend money on is an app that syncs your device from your camera on your phone into OBS. There is an app, both for Android and iOS, called OBS Studio. All right? Find it on the App Store. It's $15, and what that is going to do is it's going to allow you to connect. That's what's going to have your phone camera talk to your software. So you connect your phone in your computer, like you would sync it and like normal, and then that app is going to allow you to use that camera as a source. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. If you have 2, 3 phones, if you have an iPad and a phone, you now have 2 separate cameras you could use and stream at the same time. okay? So that's the only thing that you need to spend money on, and it's software, meaning you don't need to leave the house to get it. So you probably already have that. So that is a good scope of all the things that we need, and you already have. Now I'm going to switch to doing a screen share and show you OBS from scratch and show you how to set everything up so that it works for getting a high quality stream. Okay, so we are inside of OBS Studio and we have a blank session. So this is most likely what you're going to see when you first start and fire up the software. We're going to walk through the settings that I use and show you how to add all the elements and get this ready for streaming. So the first thing that we need to do is add a video source. And in the sources section in the left here is where we're going to add our video sources, as well as add anything that we want to overlay, like promos, logos, call to action for tip jars, all that fun stuff. So as long as you have your camera already connected to your computer, you're going to hit your plus sign, and then you're going to go ahead and look for, if you're using iOS, the app to allow you to use your iPhone, or if it's an Android, whatever, you could specify this, hit OK, and then hopefully it should recognize your device right there. And here I am. How you doing? All right, so we got this guy here. If you want to turn it off, you could just hit this little eyeball, and that will turn whatever you put in here on and off. All right. Now, the next thing that I'm going to add is, let's say if I had a DSLR camera. What we could do is go into video capture device. All right, so if you got a little more high end, then you're going to use this, and I'm using the cam link, and then I could also define the aspect ratio. So there's my 19:20, 4K, 30 frames per second, there we go. And I could resize this. So in other words, let's take this guy here. If I want to take this, open it up, here's my bigger view, and now I'm going to be full screen, okay? So this is the nicer camera, and as you could tell, I could go back and forth. I could even do two cameras at once now by resizing this one and turning my other one on. So if I want to do two camera angles, you know, I literally have two different cameras going on at once. Okay, pretty cool. So if you could do as many cameras as you like and as many different angles, and that's how you do it, okay? The next thing we'll talk about is how to do overlays for tip jars. So if we go to the plus sign, there is a feature called text. So this allows you to do a text overlay. You could go ahead and write in whatever you want. So for tips and support, PayPal me. And you could put your link, whatever. You could sit here and make this look as fancy as you want with all the tools that are available there. You could also just take this guy, resize a little bit, drag it to the bottom, and now you have an overlay for being able to have a tip jar or a tip call to action on screen the whole time. All right, pretty cool, super easy to do. All right, so there we go. Let's say that you have a logo or you know, a band logo or a design or something that you want on screen, okay? The other thing I could do are add images. So if we go to our plus sign, and we have an image, okay? What we could do is, let's say we have an image on our desktop for our logo. So we have this here. Here's our logo for our website. Beautiful. We got that there. We could go ahead and resize this and immediately have an overlay that's going to go right on top of our video. Pretty cool. And you could see here that the overlay, depending on where the hierarchy is, will show up. So in other words, if the image is below the video capture, the image gets hidden. But if I move the video capture below, that's on top. So just keep that in mind as you're working on these things, okay? Now, let's go in and talk about the sources or how to set up your stream. Those are pretty much all the main things you need to know about how to get your video into here. So now what we need to do is go into our settings and set up all our basic steps here, okay? General, there's really not much I need to do here, all right? Stream, this is where you're gonna hook up OBS to your Facebook live stream. or if you want to use YouTube, if you click this box, you got your YouTube here or Facebook. There's a ton of different ones that this actually supports. Most people are going to be just using Facebook Live, all right? Leave the server as default. The stream key, here's what we're going to do to get our stream key, okay? So now's what you're going to do is go to your Facebook account, all right? So if you want to do this, if you're using a Facebook page, all right, here is a page. What you're going to do is go to the link for Creator Studio, all right? And this is a newer interface that they've created. But once I'm in the Creator Studio, I'm going to hit Go Live. And this will call up this design here. Now, if you were just to go live with your own iPhone or the camera attached to whatever you're on, you would use camera. But what you're going to do is go to Connect, okay? And right here is your stream key. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is copy this stream key, and you're going to paste that into here. Boom. All right, then hit Apply in the bottom left corner. Okay, that is how you hook up your Facebook stream into OBS. Now, while you're on here, you could also do a few other settings. If you're on a page, if you stream from a page rather than a personal profile, you could actually choose to share this on a different page that you manage. So if you manage other websites, you could come in here and choose another page to stream it to. All right? I think you could even share on multiple pages, but I'm not going to go into that right now. The main thing you want to know here is this, you could choose the page that you want to stream to. You could even schedule it, so if you want to do this in the future, you could define the date, the time, and you could change the image to upload here that shows as the post. All right? That way people can get reminders. And also, there's not much else to worry about under settings or interactive. These are the main things you want to worry about. Go ahead and paste a little message in here. What I usually do is when it comes time to do the broadcast, I'll update the text here and say something like, here's where my tip jar is, blah, 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 okay? And that's it here. Now, a very big tip, if you schedule that, let's say for a future date, and then it's time to do the live stream, you need to go back to that actual post. So what you want to do is on your wall for that page where you found the post for the actual live stream. So what you're looking for was the post here that will either say watch now or say get reminder. What you're looking for is the image that has this little pencil that says admin only, like you want to edit it. When you click edit, this will bring you back, or should bring you back, to the actual stream, okay? I think because this is already over, it's not going to let me go back to it, all right? But what you're going to look for is that post that has a little edit button. When you click that, that will bring you right back into that Creator Studio, and then you can go live from there, all right? Now, if you're going to do this from a personal profile rather than a page, all you're going to do is go to live video like this, go to connect, and it's the exact same process. You're going to get your stream key here, you're going to paste it into OBS, and you're all hooked up, ready to go. Ideally, just so you don't get confused, if you could leave this tab open until it's time to go live, you'll save yourself some headaches, all right? So if you just want to leave this tab open, minimize it, and then when you're ready to go live, you go back to that tab. You won't forget where it is, okay? Because it can be a little frustrating trying to find it. But again, follow the tips I talked about earlier. Now, once we add those settings in here, you're set with stream, all right? Output is where we want to make a few settings depending on your computer, okay? What I recommend for streaming, you want encoder to be X264, you want audio track 1, you shouldn't need to rescale, it should be set at 1920. Rate control, CBR, leave that alone. Bit rate is super, super important, okay? Bit rate, you want to either be 5 to 6,000, okay? The max that Facebook supports is 4,000, but you use what you want to call a buffer. So basically, if there's issues with the connection or whatever, this gives you a cushion. So I'd recommend setting this at between 5,000 or 6,000. The higher you go, the higher the quality and the more computer power it'll take. However, 4,000 is pretty much the max that Facebook or YouTube supports. So you don't need to go much higher than that, okay? Keyframe, leave that at 2. This setting right here is super, super important. This is going to be where it depends on how fast of a computer you have to determine how fast you can go. Now, actually, if you go slower, that means you'll have better quality, okay? This is more to do, actually, it has a lot to do with the stream quality as well as the recording that you're going to put on your computer. But what you want to do, ultra fast is for if you have a super slow computer and it can't keep up, use ultra fast. If you have a faster computer with better video cards, you can go down and see how far you could push it, all right? What you'll do is when you're setting these up and then when you start streaming, all right, you're going to see a little dialog here on the left. It'll tell you that it's overloading your computer. If you see that dialog, that's when you want to go back to your settings for output and change this to be a higher or faster setting, okay? That will use less computer power, it'll be a little bit lower quality, but you won't drop any frames and your video won't be choppy, okay? If you try to push this too hard and it can't keep up, your stream will be choppy. So play with this, it's different for everybody's computer, but that's the one setting that is super important here, okay? Those are all your other settings for streaming. For recording, again, this is going to be a recording that you save onto your desktop, not what Facebook records. So in case Facebook messes up, you'll have a recording on your desktop that you could then re-upload somewhere else. So this is just saying, where do I want my file to save? I'm going to put it on my desktop. I only need one audio track. The recording format is going to be MP4. Super easy, okay? Audio, I'd recommend 192. Facebook isn't going to really go up any higher. I think they actually only support 128. But again, this is also going to be for the output for the saved video file. So I use 192. That way the file size isn't enormous, but the quality is still really good. I don't mess with replay buffer. You're good to go. Audio. You want your sample rate to be 48. You want your channels to be stereo, all right? And then the only other thing I want to do is in devices, I want mic auxiliary audio. Here's where I'm going to select my USB or input interface. So I have a Thunderbolt interface, and my computer sees it. So when I select this, this is now going to take whatever audio is going into my computer and use that as the audio source for my stream. Okay, so I'm going to select whatever audio source I've connected to my computer, or if it's your computer speakers or your computer microphone, you would use built-in microphone. But this gives you the options of all devices that are connected to your computer that will be able to capture audio. All right, all these other settings I leave alone. This all I leave alone. Video, the base resolution and the output I both leave to 1920, so you're at 4K for anything that could handle it. If all your camera could handle is 1280, then set it to that. And then I always use 30 frames per second, or 29.97 is what I use, so I'm doing 30 frames per second essentially. So we do all that. I don't worry about hotkeys. I don't worry about advanced. We hit apply, we hit OK, and we're all good to go with our setup. All right. The only other thing I do now is, now that, again, I've connected my stream key into the system. So if I go to Facebook here and we go to our Creator Studio, what we're going to do one more time is let me get my stream key, and I'll show you how I would actually go live with this, okay? So let's get to our interface here. There we go. Boom. Okay, copy our stream key, paste it into this right here. And now, when I hit start streaming, okay, this, and actually let me just put up something so there's some image here. Let's go ahead and do this, or, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. So we have our video here, and I'm going to hit start streaming. And what this does is it automatically starts streaming and recording. don't freak out, you're not live yet. What this is doing is it's sending the stream from OBS into Facebook, okay? And what you could see here inside of Facebook is that it's got a connection. It's going to show you a preview. Don't worry about the preview being accurate. It's just a preview. It's going to be choppy. It's going to be sketchy. That's not the way it looks when people actually see it, okay? What you want to do is just monitor that you got your video resolution, your bit rate, that's your 5,000 that we set, all right? Or, yes, 5,000. Your frame rate's at 30. You just want to verify that all of these things are where you want them to be. You could see that even though my audio rate was set to 192, 128 is about the highest Facebook will accept, okay? Now, this is all working good. When I hit go live, that is going to take me live on Facebook, okay? So that is, when I click this button, that is how I turn my feed live, and boom, you're live the minute you do that. If you scheduled an event, it'll go live the second that you scheduled it for. But if you do schedule it, there will be a button to manually go live. So if you want to go live before it or whatever, you could do that, all right? And while this is broadcasting, you could see here that, you know, I'm using 48% of my computer power. I've recorded for this long, no dropped frames, so we're looking good. Again, if you try to push your computer too hard, you'll see a dialog at the bottom that says overload, and that's when you want to change those settings, okay? These are all things that you want to play with. You want to try to, let me turn me off. Okay, so you want to play with all these settings and see what works for your computer. Again, like I always advise, go to Facebook, create a dummy profile, or just maybe test your own profile late at night when no one's going to see you sitting there trying to figure it out. Okay, you could always delete the post after. But that's it. Those are all the steps to really get things going inside of the system here, all right? And then you could do a lot of other cool ninja stuff, like if you look at the actual setup that I use, I have a few different scenes, okay? If I do my guitar lessons, all right, here's my video. I have my overlays in the bottom right for my two websites. I do all these different overlays. When I teach guitar, I have tabs, I have chord charts, I have all different little things that I like to use in the middle of a live lesson. And I could literally sit here and conduct the lesson, and if I need to explain something, I have all of these at the click of a button, okay? I got a mobile mouse, so I can get real comfortable and stare at the camera and also look right next to it to see all the things that I got going on, all right? A couple other quick notes. Under audio settings, once this is all set up, if you look at the bottom right here on the settings under audio mixer, if I call up advanced properties, there is a sync offset. Another thing that you want to practice and record yourself is seeing if your video and audio line up. There might be a little bit of a delay where the audio is not in sync with the video. If you see that happening, you could try to experiment with the sync offset, okay? Just because of the cameras I use, it doesn't connect dead on, all right? So I found for my setup that a 300 millisecond sync offset makes everything nice and tight. So if you record this and you see that things don't look like they're lining up, try starting to experiment with that sync offset and see if that then gets you nice and tight, all right? That's another tip that I found is, again, different for everybody's setup. And then when you're done, if you're inside of Facebook and you're actually streaming, okay, you could just say there will be a button for end stream or end live, okay? And then also within here, you could say stop streaming, hit yes. Also make sure that you hit stop recording. When you stop recording, that video will be on your desktop, and there's your video file. It's going to be better quality because Facebook will, you know, squash it down, the quality. So you have this video file here for you. And that is about it, all right? So get in there, have fun. Just trying to see if there's anything else. Oh, one other note. The other thing I've done here is create a intro video. This is really helpful where if you want to maybe have something that is a pre-roll video so you can make sure everything's working, this is a really fun tip because the worst thing that happens is when, you know, you go live and someone's sitting there like, is this working? You know, it's really annoying when that happens. It's funny for a little bit. But what you could do is use a different start screen. All this is a preloaded video. It's a static image with some audio. And what I do is when I go live, I'll have this scene on, or this scene right here, okay? And then when I'm ready to switch to me, all I gotta do is click this button and it literally will transfer. That's what people see. So now I could use this video here, start my feed, have a friend look at it on a different device, and then make sure it's working. And then I know it's working, and then I could say, all right, click my button here, boom, we're live, and hello, and get on with it, okay? But you could set up all these different streams, all right? So this is my scene on the left here for when I do live guitar lessons, and it's very busy. I don't need all this stuff when I do a band. When I do a band, you know, I have this here, and then maybe I just have, you know, my, here's my main video, and then let's say I have some promo links, so for tips and support, all right, I made this look a little fancier with some shading. So again, you could play with these things and make it look a little bit smoother. So if I have these things here, these are the type of callouts that I'm going to use if I'm doing a live band or a promotional video or a performance, okay? So you could set up all these different scenes. You could also set it up so that, you know, you got different multi-angles, all that fun stuff. So experiment with it, have fun, and get out there and make some videos. All right, so there you go. That's everything. Hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry if it's a little long. I just wanted to make sure that I got through everything and showed you how to do this if you've never touched any of this equipment before. So get out there, get all the stuff. Most importantly, experiment and test before you go live, okay? Create a dummy account or maybe get online around 2 a.m. or whatever and have a friend look at you, try to test this stuff out. But test it. Make sure you learn OBS, get all the settings worked out, do a couple test live streams, and practice all this stuff just like you'd practice your music or a performance. And that way you know that when you go live, you're good to go and that you could really nail it and really improve the experience for everybody. All right, have fun. If you need help or if you have questions, hit me up. If you're seeing this video, you'll know how to find me. Rock Guitar Power and Super Guitar Licks are two of my websites to teach guitar online. On Facebook, you'll find me in both of those places, or Mike Diure, D-E-I-U-R-E, and that's it. Have fun, and look forward to seeing some really great live streams coming up soon. Later.